Hey guys, welcome back. We are just going to go through a tactical session here. But before I start with the tactical session, guys, it's important to understand. I think many people are having a hard time making it in the Football Manager and really throwing some bottles of water or things like that on the screen here. Don't do that, okay? To start with that, you have to understand that you will maybe lose, you will maybe get fired. And you see sometimes online that only the positive tactics that people lay out in a way. So I was wondering maybe I should take those tactics that didn't work as well, or those manager jobs I had that wasn't that well, but I haven't done that yet. But maybe I will do that in the future. So it's part of the game, guys. You cannot be successful, and that's why it's in a way it's realistic. You should get fired. You should get sacked. I haven't been sacked in this year's in football 2021 manager 2021, but I was about to get sacked from Fiorentina, but I turned it around. So we're going to just go around, guys, and see what these things are. Once you get a game, I never use the same tactic with with different team. I never go up here and upload a tactic and use that again. When I make one, that's it, and I go to a new club, make one else. Okay, so therefore I have done a lot of different things. But the things I can say to you is, if you, for example, have a hard time winning the Champions League, if you drive like this save, like this one, I have only the English League. If you only play the English League, you will have a problem. The problem is that the opponents you're going to play out, normally they don't play the league games as you are playing. So normally we see that those players, their players, they are always fit for fight. They're always in form. They don't have that injury problem. They haven't had played a game 2 days before. So you see your players are very tired and their players are not that tired. So it can be an obstacle. So if you want to win the Champions League, you should maybe drive more leagues at the same time to help you. It will be easier if you do that. The second team, guys. Let's say we are taking over Chelsea here. And I'm just going to through this one. We will clear this out. Okay, we will start here. We should maybe clear out this one as too. Okay, and this one, and this one. Oh, and also lower cross. We don't like that. We will have mixed cross. Okay. The main issues, we are just going to the main things. I'm not going through everything here, guys. So because you don't need that. One thing that is important here, guys, is that to understand that training is important. Training is important. If you don't want to set up the training, there are a lot of good training sessions you can copy on online and you can just use it. Put it in your team and use it. But you need to have training. Okay, I tested this with the Danish club. I set up very good training sessions before matches, and then I just gave it to the assistant in the next part, and you just lost almost all of the games. Training sessions are important. And the next part is, guys, we start with the tactic here. First of all, you can start with the setting up the team, and I'm not going to go into the player roles that much. Example is here, you have this. If you play this system like this formation, guys, think here now. Okay, which places am I giving away zones if I don't have the ball? Okay, it's just like football. Okay, where am I giving up zones? So I have the ball in the team. Where will my players be when I lose the ball? Okay, he will be here. Don't think about the roles at this point. Just think about where they are. He will go forward here. He will maybe come here because this play will roam a little bit more. He will be here. Okay, so if he's not going up, then because he's wing back in defense, but then you know this flank will not be attacked that much. Okay, and you already don't have a winger. So maybe you should go in here and ask him to stay wider. Like this. Because then he will be here, and this play will take less risk, you know. So it's all about zones. Okay, we will start with that. So think about that when you set it up. How would the zone be? If I go like this, for example. Don't think about play roles, okay? And this player is a striker here. Then you have a flank 2 in the middle, okay? If you use a flank 2 and you ask these two midfielders to mark tightly, okay? These two should mark tightly the opponent. And you will see the opponent is playing, for example, like many Italian teams are playing diamond here. They use 3 here, and they use maybe sometimes 2 players behind the strikers. They play like this. Okay? If you then see the aimment of the players you have, if you're gonna play against this, and you ask your 2 central midfielders to mark tighter, what do you think gonna happen? When they get the ball wide areas, when their fullbacks come up, somebody gonna be free here. And those players, when they switch the ball from side to side, they're gonna get a lot of through balls. Especially if you have your defensive line also a little bit lower, like standard or even lower than that. So again, this zone, so you're giving away your players. But if you play 4-3-3, this is the most safe thing, because the 4-3-3, you will fill all areas. The place you are not filling is the attack. So then you have to think, switch to the attack, okay? No, it was defense. When you lose the ball, your wider areas is free. It's like just when you're setting up football, right? So when, for example, Ancelotti played the Christmas formation, he used Ambrosini and Gattuso here. Why did he use that? Because he knew Cafu will go up, and I think it was Jankowiski or something will play at the left. He will also go up, okay? Because they have to to build the wide areas, to fill up the wide areas. You have to use players there. So okay, for example, he used him wide, make him go forward, ask him also to go forward. Okay, when these players go up, someone have to cover up the space. So you can also maybe go Carriero, for example. Carriero goes a little bit wider, so then Carriero will go up right here. Something is the player roles and something is also the player attributes. Okay, if you see Kante here, guys, this player is attacking the flank, both when you have the ball or don't have the ball, okay? So maybe if you're playing this system, you should go like this, because then he will even go wider in a way, and then you can use him as a deep line playmaker. That's when you don't have the ball, okay? Carriero will go wide when you have the ball. When you don't have the ball, he will not always go that wide. So make him go wide, so when you have the ball, he will go forward, he will stand there, Carriero will come up here, okay? So he will in a way stand in a place where you will avoid counterattacks, okay? But he will not stand here when you don't have the ball. He will come into the middle here, okay? He will be like a central midfielder. So getting wider to help out here, maybe you should go like this. I once played with Manchester United in the Football Manager 2020. That game is tactic is also set up. We played something like this, okay? And I wanted to win the ball at the areas here. And what I did, I used Matic here, and I used only offensive midfielders here. And this player here, he was the best passing player in my team. I used him as a deep line playmaker in support, and I asked him to have more direct passing. And the player liked also to play those kind of passes, a player rating, okay? So he had like this, for example. You have then deep line playmaker, you ask him to take more direct passing, okay? So what I did there, I had to make these 2 players aggressive. Then you have Wan-Bissaka here that was very good defensively. I asked him to tight marker, I asked him to tackle harder, and I also made him go wider. I also asked him to help out here. Sometimes I saw the opponent is playing with a wing back, I asked him to mark the wing back, so they would double up at the sides, okay? And you won the ball here. When you won the ball, I had Rashford here as advanced forward, and I asked him to go wider, and they played the through ball immediately on counter-attack, because then you are fooling the opposition fullback up or wing back. If they have wing back, you are posing that player up. But when I played like this, I couldn't get I couldn't get these players wide enough in attack fast enough. They waited to the ball go there and then they went. When I went like this, it went much easier. It's simple, and you see that when you're playing the game. You have to see the game in a way. Extended highlights or something like that, okay? So that's another thing. The other thing is the player traits. Now the player attributes, okay? If you have a winger, that's name is Pulisic, okay? He's playing here. And you are playing only 2 in the middle, okay, like this. So when you look at Pulisic, guys, you can see that his you see as defensively, for example, his bravery. It's not that much. His work rate is very good, so he will work, okay? This guy will work. His attribute reflects the player's willingness to work to his full capacity, going above and beyond the call of duty. Stamina is good. and but his concentration is not that good. Lacking a concentration defensively can really hurt you as a winger. And also you can also see the decision making is good. This is okay defensive. Tackling is not that high, so he will not win. That doesn't mean he doesn't tackle. He would tackle, but he will almost never win the ball. So, but he can read the game well. That helps him out. Okay, so okay, I understand that I have a player that will work hard here, but when it comes to bravery and tackling, so when he tackles, then he's gonna go in there. He's not gonna win the ball, but he's gonna be there. He's gonna work there. He's gonna help you out, but he's not gonna win the ball that much. Okay, so that's one kind of player. But then you have players that really don't work. Okay, they don't have work rate. They don't have work ethic. You have those players with flair, and they go forward. Okay, if you have a player like that here, what should you do then? Then it's not enough to ask him to cover up here. You have to understand which kind of player this is. And one thing you don't do then is you don't put this guy in, for example, in attack duty. Okay, this is your guy. This is your Lionel Messi here. Okay, you know Lionel is not gonna work down here. He's not coming back. So what are you gonna do? It's not that he don't win the ball. He's not coming back. Okay, so you want then Messi. If this was Messi, you want Lionel Messi here to get the ball. So you shouldn't have 10 other players in attack duty here, because then they all are aggressive. They all want to do something themselves. But you shouldn't have everyone in defense either. You should have players with support duty because you want him to get the ball. Okay, so you're putting this player in a support duty, for example, as a box-to-box midfielder. But then you have to go here and look at him. You have to look at him here, okay? And you're gonna see, can this guy cover up defensively when one, Lionel Messi is not gonna work down the field. Two, Lionel Messi is not gonna win the ball if he works down the field. So let's see, can N'Golo Kanté do that? N'Golo Kanté, he can win the ball. He's fast enough to move out and cover up. That's very important, okay? When you have a player that is lacking defensive attributes, you need a player who can cover up, okay? So that's one thing, and you can see that. But okay, does Kovacic have that? Kovacic, what should I do with him? Yeah, his tackling is good, so he can win the ball. He reads the game well. His concentration is not that good, but he reads the game well. So when we lose the ball, if he smells danger, he can read the situation. He can come out. Okay, Kovacic can do that. But one thing Kovacic cannot do maybe is his positioning. So he can read the game, he sees the game, but he will not place himself in the right place defensively. And his work rate is good, so he's gonna be there. His pace is also good, and acceleration is good, so his foot's gonna move there, and when he is there, he's gonna win the ball. But how is his decision? His decision is good. So a little bit cross thing here. You see, his decisions is good, but his concentration is lacking, and that is focused on attention to detail. So okay, when you're gonna take a shot, when it takes a decision, that decision normally is right. Okay, defensively and offensively, but lacking of concentration will, in a way, pull this down. But then okay, if I have Messi here, I have Kovacic there, but how is his aggression? That's okay too. It's okay. It's not a defensive midfielder, but it's okay. So, but something that when you're using Messi, for example, here, you should have a player that can cover up here behind him. Okay, that's one thing. And I'm going to set up something new that I think very few guys is talking about. So I'm going to take that one, and that's this part here, guys. Use title marking, pressing intensity, and that's not so important for me at this point, and get stuck in. Okay, these three parameters, okay? Remember that. Use title marking, pressing intensity, and tackling, okay? If you go to a position instruction and you go to the positions here, or you can go to the players, I normally go here. I fill it out and I use it from game to game. But anyway, you can go here. If I go here, do you see this one? Tight marking, press intensity, tackling. It's the same thing that you just could show over there, okay? So if I go here, if I ask my players here to get stuck in, press in more intensity, this will mean all the players, not all the players on the field, that is here behind this line, okay, behind this line over here, line of engagement. So these two players and these two players, do you see these players? It's them. They're gonna press intensively. So when the ball comes out here, the team gonna press more high, more aggressive here. So it doesn't, then they don't care who the player is. They're just gonna press him. Okay, remember that. But if you go like this, they are not gonna press that more intensively. But you can do something here. If you see then some player here, you can say, I see him. We're gonna press you always. And we're gonna also tackle you harder. And we're also gonna mark you out. Okay, do you understand that? This is this player here. He's normally behind your line of engagement. All of these players are. Also Usai, yes, Usai here. You see Usai? He's also there. So if you mark him tighter, if it asks you to press him more intensity, it's not the same thing you ask your team to do. The team instructions is saying something else. You're doing totally different now. So every time this guy has the ball, your players will break. They will break the team instruction you have given them, and they will do this. So when the other players have the ball, they will lay down. They will not press so intensively. But when this guy has the ball, then they will attack the ball, the guy. Okay. So, but then, so you understand that. So it's really the same thing, guys, over there. Here you go to a more detailed personal origin. So it's doing the same thing. So many people here go out here and say, I want to press very high, and they go here and they say, oh, this guy is very good with the ball, and I don't press him never. What you do then is you're asking your players, you're asking your players, because he's very good with the ball, I don't want to press him. Okay, you can press him. That's one of the rules here. You can do everything in Football Manager. You just have to know what you're doing. Okay, so you go like this. Okay, you just ask your team not to do that. You ask your players to press hard. Line of engagement. He's in the line of engagement, those two. So that means when these guys have the ball, you are pressing them hard, but suddenly you are asking, when the ball goes wide, to these players, back off. What will happen then do you think, with your midfield? What will happen there? When you're pressing these players, who's going to press these players? In this formation you have today, in this team, these two players are going to push them. So they're going to come up, they're going to push, right? They're going to push these two players. And what will happen then? If they sell out, and they have one more player in the middle, so you are one short. The ball will go wide. These players are high up in the field. They are more aggressive here. They have to move out the field. I'm not saying it will not work. It will most probably work, okay? But you have to think what will happen. Then this player needs to handle that order. And also, you have to have a plan then if you go something like that. You have to have a plan. Okay, I don't pressure him. What will he do? He will come in, then he will lose the ball. Okay, if that's something you're asking, if that's something you want to, you see that his decision making is so bad that you just let him take the ball and dribble, and he will do a stupid thing with the ball. Then you have to remember, then you cannot have him like this. Go here and ask him. Sorry, guys. Go here and do like this, because again we're going to do the same thing. Mark tighter, or ask him to tackle harder. Mark tighter, more urgent. You understand? You just know you're complicating things really, really bad here. You're asking your right back, when the opponent get the ball, you want him to close down, you want to tackle harder, and you want to mark tighter, right? But at the same time, you're asking not do that to this player. And again, in your team instructions, you are asking the player to press more intensity. The press intensity should be higher. You should tie to marking, and you should get stuck in. That player will get confused, maybe not. I don't know, and I really don't know what the outcome will become here, based on this setup. It will be much up to him. If he likes to dive into tackle, he will dive. If he don't like to dive into tackle, he won't dive. So it will be, and maybe his decision making will be thing here. You have really asked him for too much here. So you can go around the opposition instructions. I would say to you, you should use opposition instructions more often. But when you use opposition instruction, remember what you're asking your own players in team instruction and player instruction. Okay, so this is that part. So what does it say? Use tighter marking. It just says that when your opposition player have the ball, be tighter to them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Okay, just think loud here. What will work in the tighter marking? Tighter marking will not. I personally don't think I would ever go tighter marking if I play like this. Then you should have very fit players with good marking and good dual players here, guys. But you should not have slow player as well, because it's so much room here. All players are lonely. This is one-on-one, really one-on-one. And if the opposition is playing, not that wide, you know, you're gonna have 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and you're gonna have a war out here. But it can go. But use tighter marking. I normally use tighter marking when I'm a better team or I have a more fit players. And when you play against some other teams, you don't use it. Okay, you just take it off. This is something you have on and take it off. Pressing intensity is. You should, if you're gonna use this one, I normally go here because and then I look at the games and I go up there and there. I test it out in the preseason and the first 2-3 games, and I see what it goes to. And I also always think about this one, right? But if you go like this, guy, just remember your pressing intensity of these players will press more intense. That's it. You will just press more intense. If you press more intense and the opposition is much better than you, they are technically better than you, they will round your players. Okay, that's it. So think about that. If you have generally bad players here, you will have a problem. But if you have one very, very good marking player, you can just hit this off, ask this player to go. Okay, you can do that as well. Get stuck in, have the decision making. If you have players with high aggression, if you have aggressive roles out there and they use get stuck in, you will have problem. If you have a lot of ball with 10 ball winning midfielders out there and you go stuck in, you're gonna have 10 red cards maybe that game. That's not possible. But anyway, stay unfit, then you stand your fit. So you can use this one from match to match. You can use it generally, or you can ask the opposition instruction, or you can go to the play instruction, ask them there. The defensive line. If you play the defensive line, guys, like this, too close to your goal, what will happen here is you will not get that many passes over your defensive line. Okay, you don't get those long balls over here, but what thing you will get is, if they are good with the ball, they don't need to be very good with the ball, but if they're handling the ball and they have more midfielders, central midfielders than you have, you will get a lot of through balls anyway. Not over the defense, but you will get the through balls from here. You will get a lot of goals against you, and that's then you can have a 3-line defensive line. It will not help. You will get those goals against you, and that's not bad. That's not a bad thing, because you will get goals against you anyway, but then you will get a lot of that kind of goals against you. If they're playing diamond formation and you are playing 2 in the middle, for example, and it's something like you're playing like this 4-2-4, or is it, or 4-4-2? I don't know what this is, but okay, anyway, if you are playing this system and you go and look at the opposition instruction, you ask, for example, your players to mark tight all these midfielders. Okay, always mark them tight. What do you think will happen then? You are 2, they are 3, and as well, and you have a line of defense low. They would pass the ball. They will have the fullbacks out here. They will outnumber you. The ball will go here. You start pressing them. They will go back. They will go here. That player ready in the half space. They will kill your half space. Half space is the room you have between your fullback and the central defender. And in this football manager, the half space is really, really, really important, both defensively and offensively, guys. So focus on that one. So you push your defensive line higher up. What can happen then? The ball can go over here. You can also use sometimes also try to help yourself out there if you have a good teamwork, players are good decision makings and things like that. And if you just have slow players, I've seen players that are slow players use this and they say it helps. I don't know. I haven't done that. Yes, I did that with Lazio and it really worked. It worked. But the decision making was very well and positioning, and the players that normally use the same players out there. So yeah. So if you go out here, guys, then we are enough with this, isn't it? Something you should also think about: regroup is not a cover thing to use. Okay, someone of you thinks if I go this, I'm a bad team. No, if you are counter pressing, look at these arrows here, okay? You regroup, you counter press. When you counter press like this, you empty a lot of room. These players will, the second you lose the ball, these players will go on march. They will try to win the ball back, okay? They will go up on the field. They will go forward. They will go forward. Do you understand? You lose the ball, they will go forward. If you're playing as a direct team with great pace up here, maybe, and they have some good midfielder, Trequista here, that's really dangerous. Is it so smart to go all man up? Yes, if you can win the ball. No, if you can't win the ball. So you have to see, can I win the ball? Can't I win the ball? Based on players I have. Which kind of players do I need to do this? Against many teams you can have it. Against some teams you should maybe take it off. Against other teams you can have it like this. Think before you go into the game, okay? When possession have been won, do you want to counter? When you counter, my coach used to say, we was a possession team, you know, when I play football. He said, you don't want the game to have too much waves, because then we will lose. We are no physical play. We are not a physical team, okay? So by using this, it will wave. But I use this with one thing. If you have a lot of off the ball move, good players with good off the ball and good pace, you should maybe use this. But then you also understand you have to have players who can set them up, okay? Counter can suddenly ask some of your players to go chip up. So if you know you can play them out, you can go hold the shape. That's also a cool thing, you know. But then you see, if I hold the shape, I must have players who can keep the ball. Imagine you're holding the shape and your opponent are playing counter press. What are your opponent playing? Are you playing counter? They're playing high pressure, counter attacking, the counter pressing football. Then this you have to understand. Can I play off the press? If you can, do it. Yeah, has to go to the goalkeeper, distribution, blah blah blah, these things, you know. Distribute to the flanks. You watch the game. If you see they are, normally I see if they're pressing high. My center backs, I go ask him to play the ball there, and that's the safest, more safe. I never go up here. This I use. Sometimes I use. Yeah, I see more their pressure, how they pressure, and I use it. When I stand with the goalkeeper, when the goalkeeper passes the ball, note it. Take a mental photo there, guys. See, where are the players? How are they coming up? Which of my players are getting free? So try to search for that player. Okay? When they come to the goalkeeper, if you are playing from defense, play out of defense right here, you have to remember one thing. Go and you have a bad goalkeeper with the foot, and he have bad decision making. Okay? You go out here, you ask him to take few risk, because sometimes when you ask the goalkeeper to play out the defense, he play a ball here, he gets it back, boom, he tries to find this player, and your passes can be cut. If you have a bad goalkeeper with your foot, he cannot do that. Okay, so remember that. You have the ball in possession, guys. This is something very cool. I like this one very much, because I have seen and I have heard a lot that many people, when they want this passing to go faster, they go up here and they take this one up. Not always, guys. This is not that. If you want your passing to go faster from A to B to C, you can come here. How more narrow your play, your passing will go faster, because your players are standing closer to each other. The passing will go more faster. Your players will play more narrow to each other. So this means if you play like this, it doesn't mean that you will not use your fullbacks. But if your fullbacks, look at this. If you're playing like this, he will never come in the game. Fullback like this, then it's up to your rest of your formation. Are you playing like this? I still don't believe if you're playing like this and higher tempo, he will ever get the ball up here. He can be there in the wave too. If you are having counter press, he can win the ball. He is there, okay? Because what you're asking your players now is to play narrow. So as you can see here, they will come closer to each other. So the players are coming closer to each other when you have the ball, and you're also asking them to get faster. This will, in my opinion, this is more how fast does your player get in place in attack. when you get the ball, right? This is when you get the ball, when you have the ball. How fast do they go in position, move forward in a way, and how fast are you asking your player to think? So if you ask him to hoof the ball forward and have higher tempo and very narrow, he will go very narrow. Oftenly when you go like this, narrow your wingers, wide players, they will score goals for you. They'll score a good amount of goals for you. So the always discussion is Pep Guardiola using wide or small? I don't think that's so much important when you're gonna set up a tactic. If you're gonna recreate Pep Guardiola, if he's playing, because every team that have a winger or fullback, he will stand here. You can ask him to stand a little bit more narrow or a little bit more wider. That's it. I don't think that is the thing. This is more. Do you want your wingbacks, fullbacks to come into the game? We go more like this. Do you want to play wide and open up the space in the middle, but attack through middle here? Yes, but then you have to have players who can get the ball here. So because I want to use Werner, because Werner is extremely pacey guy here, right? And I don't want to play counter attack. I want to play through balls. Okay, then you make sure you have players at the half pace here, behind here and here, right? So maybe I don't know if this was set up. I'm gonna do it like this. Or maybe use him as an advanced playmaker even. And I ask him to go a bit more narrow, sit narrow like this. And no, I cannot. Maybe I use him as a inverted winger. Okay, and here I go with the road motor even. I like that role. Never use it, but I like it. I like the name. Or even I can use as a winger in attack. Okay. No, I cannot use that. I can. Winger in attack is like a striker, guys. Winger attack is like a striker. We score a lot of goals. I used Bellerin once as a winger in attack and played narrow, very narrow. He scored, I think, in 9 games, he scored 5 goals. All of them was tap in. So he came in. So we had, and he was he's a fast player. Okay, but maybe have that this. Okay, so then you have him as I don't know. You want to have him as let's say advanced forward even. Okay, just say something. So. And then you should use him as a maybe like this, or Mazzella, something like that. Maybe I don't know. Okay, Mazzella in support. He will come here. He will come in this part. Okay, you're playing wide, right? You're playing wide, so you're stretching out the thing you are doing. Take this is better, easier thinking. When you use this, your opponent will be stretched. When you use this, your opponent will get more narrow. Then so will you, because they will move with the ball and the ball will move with you. Okay, so you go here, you will stretch them out. So you're stretching them really out, but you don't want to attack through your fullbacks, so maybe you want to use them as an inverted wing back here. Okay, and support. So you will get these players in here. You can even ask him to stand even more central, but you're asking players to go wide. Yeah, but they will stretch them up. You will get the ball into the half space, and then we'll go. You want to, for example, have an overload. You can have a player here is the playmakers, because the playmakers will hit the ball longer, right? Especially if they have that they would in their player trait that they want to use wide areas of the field, or they want to switch the ball from side to side. Oh, beautiful! Then you should maybe use it. Then they will use more the fullback, for example, coming up here. He will go inside. He will come here. Right? He switched the ball from here to this part. You're playing wide. He's getting the ball through here. And then you ask him, of course, more through ball, take more risk. He's already doing it. Do you understand that? So you can do that. So you can also play smaller here. You can play like this. I promise you, your fullbacks will never get the ball up in the field now. Even to you go like this, what do? You will get the ball, what do we do? They will get the ball to these players. Then you should have players here that are attacking. You know, is coming, but not in the same wave. So you could use something like this. Winger in attack. He will score goals. He will score the goals. He will set up the goals. And then you should maybe think, do I want him here? Do I want him maybe more forward? Do I want him more back here? And when you play small or narrow, you have less room to play in. You can keep the ball sometimes more because the players are more closer to each other. But if you are playing very narrow, you're asking them to go to a higher tempo and even going shorter passing. Can be a little bit similar like Egg and this. Okay, but what will happen there is that you're going through your wings a lot. So if you have really lazy, bad wingers that cannot do anything, forget it. Why do you do that? If you have wingers that are good, take down the tempo in the game. No, you have wingers that they don't have the pace, they don't have the dribbling to do it. They are more creator kind of players. Then you go like this, more wide. Maybe use overlap to get your fullbacks up. I'm not going through here. I know there are hundreds of videos saying what overlaps does. It just makes your defensive fullback, your fullbacks more aggressive. Okay, pass into space, guys. Don't pass into space. I mean, many people think I can use pass into space if their defensive line is bad in pace. No. Is your defensive line good enough with the ball? Because they're gonna shut it up in there. Is more players. Almost every player gonna then pass it into space. But sometimes it's good. You also should see their if the opposition is not good in translation. For example, they don't have the players who can go both way. This can be sometimes well to use in some part of the game. And the rest is I like the tempo to go slow sometimes and sometimes high. And the thing here is, if you're not scoring goals, guys, if you're really not scoring goals, you can very, very easily come here, change one of these and change one of this, and you will score goals. You get correct goal chances, okay? And then you see and you feel the balance. So that's why it's very important in the first game. Just look at this, guys. Just look at this. And how you should use opposition instruction. There is no right way to use opposition instruction. I would look at the players. For example, if I see they have a very good midfielder here, okay, I see it in the game that he's receiving a lot of passes. The thing I will do, okay, I will mark him out. But if I see that the number 29 here is getting the ball a lot, I will mark him out. Why do I mark him out? Because then he will not get the ball. Okay. So then I will have to see who's passing him the ball. It's normally these players, right? These three players here. They are sending him the ball. So then I have to go to Dalia Mar. I have to press him. Always. Maybe to his right foot. To get him up here. To Ronnie Lopez. Or maybe I have to go to the left and press him back here. But then you have to have the players to do that. You know, you have to... Pulisic can do that. Pulisic have the work rate and he have the pace. He could go up here. He could press it, you know. And then I also would make this Mansoy, isn't it? Mansoy go to the left foot. So he doesn't come here. He goes this way. You see it? You look at that. And sometimes you see, for example, look at these defenders. Composure is good. So you pressing him, he will not be that stressed. But does he have the technique? Yeah, I think as a center defender, he has the technique and he has the pace. So... no good to come by trying to win the ball by pressuring him that much. But you can pressure him to make him lead him one way. Okay, then you have the also is it Palestri? Oh, he's good. His decisions 14. Ooh, composure. He's better than my defenders. Okay, then you see and you go through and you see for example this guy called Unai. Oh man, come on. Usai, very good. His physics is good, you know. Dolberg is composure is good, but it's a little bit. He's not that slow. His dribbling is not that good, right? You could maybe go on. How is his physique? we can go for example like this. He's a single striker, we should have hold on him. And you can also, if you have good central defenders, athlete, good marking ability, you can maybe ask them to mark tighter and even tackle harder, or go like this, for example, mark tighter and do that thick. And this can be scary. I would use this on player opposition instruction. You can go like this, for example. So you take him out. I'm going to just show you a little trick, guys. This works if you're playing against with a not that good team. Okay, I was Brighton. This is Brighton. This version of Football Manager love pacey players, okay? But you have to know how to use them. Where is my friend here? This guy here. Okay, I made him score, I think, around 20 goals. I think it was something like that. As a striker, he's not. First of all, he's not a striker. He have finishing 12. His composure is 12. His decision is 11. And but his pace is very good, and his dribbling is very good. He have good long shots. He got a good flair, and he goes okay off the ball. Cuts inside from left wing. So the thing I did was, let's say we have him in Team of Werner, okay? So I had to say in Brighton, I have to score goals. You know, who's that player of mine who can do something? Yeah, so he have the attributes to really change the game for me. And then I have to set up. Okay, let's say we are a very bad team, and we have Werner. Werner have a good pace. So, okay, Werner, his dribbling is not that good, but let's say he have good dribbling as well. He's really pacey guy, no? And let's say he also comes here. So I normally then went to look at the opposition instruction, and I saw which of their central defender is slow. And I could see here that, and I normally look at pace then. Pace is more important, because we are playing counter-attack. It's not only acceleration, it's also the pace, because you are running more aimment of the field. And he's faster, okay? Their left central defender is faster than the right central defender. So, right central defender is more slow. I move him here. I even do like this. Like this. Why? And I ask him to go wider. Their fullback will come up. He will stand outside of the player. And then I ask these two players here. And we don't have him here like this. Let's say we're playing like this even. Okay, so make it even harder. You have to ask these players to win the ball. You have to win the ball at this side, because you will counter straight this way. You go out there, and you should use a good ball winning player here. And you should also ask him, even though if he's a box-to-box midfielder, more direct passing. The same with him. So the reason is, and then I use him as advanced forward. Advanced forward is beautiful in this game this year. It's really beautiful. Okay, especially against high defensive lines. So what will happen is that, but you can use advanced forward against teams that are lower. The Turquista and advanced forward this year is beautiful for me. The roles, I think I really love them. You get the ball. Let's say he's a wing back. Okay, win the ball. Poof, a little wide. And then I ask him, even because he was so good at dribbling, I ask him to dribble more. And I ask him to take few risks in the short passing and roam more. You understand? So he scored a lot of goals this way, especially against defenders that was slow. And then you have to also invite them in, right? You invite them in. You have to then you don't need to go like this. But there is no room then. But yeah, that was it. Isn't there anything I can tell you here that you should be knowing? I think you know it all. Look at the game. Look at the start of the game. Watch the game. Watch the game. Watch the game. You have hard time scoring goals. Something right here. You have hard time making chances. This is here, right? So you can just think yourself, if I play lower tempo, it's easier for my players, but if they are pressuring hard, it will be harder for me. But if I can deal with the pressure and have lower tempo, some good can come out of it. You can also change this one, because shorter passing, lower tempo, the ball moves slower, and in very short amount of places. Here they will suddenly move the ball a little bit more, right? Even more now. Lower tempo. The players, not the players will move. Sorry, the ball is not moving, but the players are moving it lower. They are not moving into position that fast. And you're playing like this. You know, players are long from each other, so you can really play them out this way. More direct. You play wider. Lower tempo. So push them out. No, I want to kill my opponent when I get the ball. Then you go this way. Yeah. Time wasting. Beautiful thing. Set pieces. Use it right. Something I can ask you should do in the set pieces, guys, is in attack. If you see a player with good finishing and good acceleration of the ball, you should use him here. Comes in pace, then does not need to have a good heading ability. With jumping, he will score goals. Timo Werner, I would use him here, I think. His off the ball is good, his jumping reach is okay. This is not him. This is Havertz. Sorry, this is Timo. Finishing a 16, off the ball 16. Yeah, beautiful. He also can read the game well. That's well. And you also should have Kante always standing here. You should have long players at. If you have long jump, good players and jumping reach, you should stand. The very stand. You know, you should be there. Standing, because standing you need to have tall players. Okay, and something else defensively you should remember is this player is going back. When he's going back, his positioning is important. When I ask him to mark a player, okay, his marking is important, right? As well. And if I ask him to mark a tall player, it's almost the same thing as you can see here. So do you understand that? So you have to see, okay, who gonna mark, who gonna do that, and that's also important on throw-ins. Don't concede idiotic goals against yourself on these places. Okay, guys, thank you very much. If you like it, remember hit the like button and have a nice evening. Bye bye.